Rivalries take center stage in week 3 of prep football, and the 55th Backyard Brawl gets featured in our game of the week. Holy Cross looks to extend its winning streak over Chalmette. Rummel saw its win streak over Shaw end last season. The Eagles try to keep the megaphone with a victory in the 62nd edition of their rivalry. And pride put on the line in the Battle of Lafourche Parish tonight on 4th Down Friday. We start in Metairie. Harlem, Berry, and St. Martin's looking for a 3-0 start, hosting Patrick Taylor at Tony Porter Field. And Berry wastes no time right out the gate. He takes the handoff from Ashton Oliver, jukes a defender, and he's off to the races. 25 yards, Saints up 7-zip. Then Berry again, this time off the draw and showing why he's the #1 ranked running back in the state. And in some recruiting services, the #1 back in the nation. 40-yard house call this time. He opened the game with 3 tutties. Great seeing the offense there. Let's show some love to the St. Martin's defense. Ashton Oliver playing both ways for the Saints, steps in front of the defective Patrick Taylor pass, and he goes 88 yards the other way for the pick 6. St. Martin's cruises to a 42-12 win. A few area teams will start district play next week, but they've got to deal with some tough non-district tests tonight. What up? Welcome to 4th Down Friday. I'm Ricardo LeCompte. We'll get to our game of the week over at Bobby Nuss Stadium in the parish in just a moment. Holy Cross and Chalmette battling all the way to the finish. But let's check out some more highlights, and we'll start with Jesuit and Bonneville. Jesuit captured a nice win over state-ranked Edie White last Saturday. The Blue Jays taking on Bonneville tonight at the Shrine on Airline / Gold Mine. The Bruins looking for points right before the end of the first half, down 24-0. Brandon Lewis goes deep, finds Cy or Farrell with the diving catch. Bonneville set up with 1st and goal inside the 10. Then Lewis on the keeper, splits the Jesuit defenders, dives in for the score. Bruins on the board before the half, but it's all Blue Jays in this one. 5-yard pass from Taylor Norton to Roman Larry to start the third. Jesuit beats Bonneville 38-14. Shaw snapped a long losing streak to rival Rummel last season and hoisted the Megaphone Trophy for the first time since 2007. The Raiders want the Megaphone back, and they bring in a team to Joe Yenny Stadium tonight that's beaten Lafayette Christian and U High, 2 highly ranked teams in the state. Rummel gets a 3rd-ranked opponent in as many weeks. Shaw ranks 7th in the class, that's LSWA Class 4A poll. These are not those highlights. This is actually Warren Easton and Slidell. Warren Easton getting a final tune-up before their first Catholic League game. The Eagles visiting LV McGinty Stadium to face the Slidell Tigers. Easton lands the first punch. That was a Thomas Vaughn touchdown. Then on defense, how about a little interception? That was Leonard Watson doing the honors. And then Easton catches in off the takeaway. Second quarter now, Vaughn goes untouched up the middle for the touchdown. Easton beats Slidell tonight by the final of 21-0. Let's stay on the North Shore. Lakeshore going for a 3-0 start to the year. The Titans visiting the North Shore Panthers. And let's see what this highlight is. There it is, Lakeshore and North Shore battling in Slidell tonight. Donovan Wellbacher back to pass for the Panthers. Beats the pressure, finds Ramon Williams. He breaks that tackle and scores. That cuts the Titans lead to 27-10. Titans on the move now in a little double handoff in the backfield. Cato Pichon emerges from the pile and picks up a big gain across midfield later in the drive. Audrey Graw finishes the drive with a 1-yard touchdown plunge. Lakeshore leads at 34-10. At that point, they roll to a 41-10 win. They're 3-0 on the year. All right. Let's get to that game of the week. Holy Cross navigated Catholic League play last season and earned the #1 seed in the Division I playoffs. The Tigers trying to find out if they have a similar team this year. And a solid performance in the Backyard Brawl could show them. The Owls are coming off one of their most successful seasons in recent history, and they would like nothing more than to snap a 6-game losing streak to Holy Cross. Seth Lewis watched this one at Bobby Nuss Stadium. He joins us live with more. Hey, Seth.
Hey, Ricardo, rivalry games aren't meant to be pretty, and for the first 3 quarters, that is exactly what was happening in this Backyard Brawl. But the 4th quarter was actually spectacular, and it was led by the greatest bounce in Chalmette history to help the Owls win their first time in this rivalry game since 2017. rivalry games, you can expect teams to pull out all the stops, and Chalmette wasted no time getting tricky. On the opening kick, Oscar Deras Ortiz executing the pooch kick to perfection. It bounces right back to Roshan Addison, and the Owls are in business. But a 3-and-out forces a 38-yard field goal, and Travis Borden is unable to convert. And that would set the defensive tone for the rest of the first half. There was only 5 first downs total in the first half, 2 coming by penalty, but 1 coming by this beautiful pitch and catch from Jake Levesque to Derek Johnson, and he turns up for a 25-yard gain, but they would end the first half with no score. But the action got really spicy in the fourth quarter. On a 4th and 6, Breeze Wilson for Chalmette finds Axton Lopez for the 20-yard gain, and that puts them inside the 5. And that would set up Tristan Dubose, who missed the kick earlier, but this time he makes up for it with the 23-yard field goal, and Chalmette leads 3-0. But Holy Cross had a response immediately with their own long drive that was capped with Caden Ando punching it in from 3 yards out, and Holy Cross leads 7-3. So now it's Chalmette's turn to try to respond. Wilson finding Tanner Vincent. He fumbles, but Jaden Williams is Johnny on the spot. He scoops the fumble and takes it 80 yards for the greatest bounce in Chalmette history. 9-7, Chalmette leads. But the Tigers would have a chance to respond with under 2 minutes to go. Looking for a double reverse. Caden Ando on the pitch is not able to handle it, and Samaj Tap is right there to recover it. And Chalmette goes on for the victory, 9-7.
I don't know, I'm very excited, very nerve-wracking. And on that last play that I scored on, I couldn't believe it, what I seen in my 2 eyes. I was very happy, and it was just an indescribable moment.
The whole time I've been at this school, we've yet to beat Holy Cross, had close games, and we hadn't had close games. And so to pull it out in the last second like that, it just means everything. We've been wanting this my whole high school career.
So all I got to say is, against this team here, a lot of balls don't bounce our way over the years. About time one bounced our way. That's where we at. Thank you.
Honestly, the story of the night before that greatest bounce was just how good Chalmette's defense was, allowing only 3 first downs to Holy Cross in the first half, as well as only 1 touchdown for the entire game. At Chalmette, Seth Lewis, WWL, Louisiana.
To be lucky, then good. All right, Seth, thanks.
Up next, South Lafourche and Central Lafourche battle for parish pride in their annual rivalry game. And Edie White looks to bounce back from a tough loss last weekend, hosting an undefeated Hahnville team. Highlights ahead, but first, scores from across the metro area.
The Battle of Lafourche Parish, South Lafourche and Central Lafourche, this year's edition taking place at Bob Grope Field. South Lafourche quarterback Josh Mack with the 5-yard connection for the touchdown. That cuts that deficit for the Tarpoons to 28-21. Then Mack, this time a 6-yard touchdown pass to Dre Hughes to tie the game in the fourth quarter. We've got a good one as bragging rights on the line in Lafourche Parish, but Central Lafourche running back Robert Day from 20 yards out, that is the game winner. South Lafourche goes on to win by the final of 35-28. 1-0 Hahnville trying to get Greg Boyne his second win as Tigers head coach. Hahnville and Thibodaux to take on Edie White. The Cardinals dropped to number 8 in the latest LSWA 4A poll after losing to Jesuit. That was Landon Teagues, completes that short pass to Landon Duffrey, but it doesn't go for anything. How about this one? The 2 connect again, this time for a 58-yard pass. But no, they would settle for 3. Then Edie White's Luke Legger. He's going to take the handoff, and he's going to go 35 yards for the touchdown. Edie White and Hahnville battled to the end, but the Cardinals able to pull out the 21-18 victory. A light prep schedule on Saturday, especially compared to last weekend with all the rescheduled games from Hurricane Francine. Week 3 started with Sophie B. Wright improving to 2-1 on the season. The Warriors, under first-year head coach and former Carr QB Munchie Legault, edged ML King Charter 14-6 Thursday night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Friday night for 4th Down Friday.